everybody's got what they need, I'm going to turn it over to Coach for an opening statement, and then we'll get your questions.
When I was the basketball coach at Stephen F. Austin, I'm going to blame Derek Burson for me having to see you guys again. I mean, this is a brutal schedule. I see you guys more than I see my wife, way more than I see my daughters. Knowing that literally some of you guys aren't that good looking. No offense. What was it? 8 hours ago? But hell, here we go. Really proud of our freshmen. Last night, I thought that on a senior night, it was very nice to see two freshmen really play well, kind of come out of a shell, so to speak. I think we see that those guys can be alphas. They can be Batman, and in a year where a lot of them have been in supportive roles or Robin, it's been it was really nice to see that. I thought Kofi was exceptional in the second half. I thought Trent's job defensively was outstanding. And then to be quite honest, we had some of the best possessions we've had in a long time in terms of ball movement, driving it, kicking it, and going back and evaluating it to only make 4 threes, and we had so many good shots, and to still score 86, and to know that Io wasn't in that lineup when we did that, I was very pleased with last night's performance. Obviously, a very quick turn. We're going to go probably see a team that's a little bit the opposite of what we just saw in terms of having the screws tightened down a little bit. A team that beat Northwestern in their last game. They've been off a week, so they'll be well prepared and well rested. So it'll be at least we have some familiarity with them and their personnel and what they're trying to do. And we've got to be better in some areas defensively against them, and hopefully we cannot turn it over. They're number 1 in the country in the fewest turnovers at 9, and we had 18 against them in the first game, and we cannot do that on the road and expect to win. So before I get asked, Io's situation is no different than it was last night. So there's no need to continue to beat that up, but we'll always do what's in the best interest of that young man and his career and our team. And again, we've got another great challenge, and we'll have to step up to that at 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon.
Brad, I think we're all pretty surprised to see you as well. Sincerely, would we be here if you were not a top 5 team? Would we have this interaction this morning, do you think?
I don't know why we wouldn't. Rob, I think there's certain ways to handle things, and we're a member of the Big Ten Conference. It's the best conference in basketball. It's a one-off year. Would it be very easy for us to not play this game? These games mean nothing. There's no Big Ten championship that means much. These games don't mean much. They really don't. And yet we're part of something that's much bigger. You guys know, I try to be all about character. The league's provided these games for us. It's unfortunate because, as I mentioned last night, we've done everything COVID correctly to this point. And it's unfortunate that we lost 3 road games. It's unfortunate we set for 10 days. It's unfortunate we set for another period of 6 days and didn't play. And now we end the season with all these road games crammed in here. Be very easy to say, hey, we're a 5th ranked team in the country, and we're not gonna play. You know what? I think there's a lot of life lessons in this that go beyond this game, the next game, whatever. Certain programs were on their do what they do. I don't care about that. But the Big Ten scheduled these games. We're a member of the Big Ten, and we're going to show up and play.
And did you get any sleep last night?
I was actually exhausted last night. I was out by midnight, and I got a text at 2:30 in the morning that some of our coaches had sent with the final grades. I had the phone by me. I woke up, saw who it was, went right back to sleep. I woke up at 5:30. I'm on my second Yeti of coffee, and I watched Northwestern and Iowa and our game, and now we'll get ready for preparation. So I got 5.5 hours of sleep, Rob. Thank you.
Woohoo! Thanks.
Hey, Coach, is there anything different you'll do with the guys as far as what a normal lead up to a game would be as far as trying to keep them fresh?
Yeah. There's no doubt. We usually don't hold back too much. I mean, we go, and we're a lot more sensitive to that. I do have experience with one-day preps. We had them in the Big 12. We haven't had 5 games in 7 days, and the uniqueness of this one-day prep is our opponent doesn't. They have 7 days. So, we can't do much. This will be more of a mental. Again, it's an NCAA tournament-like deal. You're going to have to. We're going to break a sweat. We're going to lift. We're going to go. And shoot a bunch of balls, and then we're going to cover them. But it won't be up and down the court. So it'll be very controlled and not near as long.
And do you guys plan to have Io make the trip with you up to Madison?
To be determined. Yep.
Thanks.
The final doctors will determine that. That's where he's at today.
Hey, Brad, on Wednesday, you had said that you and Io hadn't talked about future plans, but you said that he needs to go to the draft. When he came out yesterday, he was announced as making his last appearance at the State Farm Center. I'm just wondering if since then you two had a conversation, or if there was anything extra to that.
Just not. He's got a lot of things going, Nico. I mean, it's not where there's a right time. We knew that last night was going to be his last night in the arena. I mean, that to be very honest, that's common sense. And to sit down and formally have that, we did not. There's a lot. Yesterday was on a lot of fronts was a challenging day. So that discussion will happen, but not right at the moment.
Kind of following up on that, I mean, I know you're in game mode throughout that, but did you have a moment where you maybe looked over and just saw him on the bench and were able to kind of, realize just, that it kind of just sucked that he wasn't able to take part in that game last night? Yeah.
I mean, senior day stink, guys. I mean, I'm telling you, and I'm emotional, and you get so invested in people's lives and their families, and you see them grow, and you see them. You guys have all seen that with Trent DeMonte, and it's the same thing with Io. And man, it was sad. It's the first time that I've experienced as a head coach a player not being able to play in his last home game, and it had a different feel. It was eerie, and it wasn't right, but it was eerie. So, but I say this all the time. I'm the most blessed human being on the planet because I got to coach that kid for 3 years, and we've got more to do.
Thanks, Brad.
Hey, Nico actually just asked my question, so I'm good. Thanks.
Hey, Brad, you talked a little bit about the freshmen yesterday, And were you surprised how well they played? I mean, they really played aggressive. And can you maybe expand on how both Curbelo and especially Adam attacking the basket was a little bit was a real positive yesterday?
Well, again, it was tweaking roles, and it was, it was putting guys in position to have to go make plays. And a lot of that, you can't have 5 guys on the court who all go make plays. You've got to have other guys who do certain things. The Lakers have LeBron go make a lot of plays, and the other guys are recipients, and you all can't do that and be successful. And yet it's very nice when you had to step up. And a great example last year, it was very tough at Rutgers last year without Io. We didn't have a lot of guys able to do that. It's not easy being an alpha. And both of those freshmen stepped into the roles and were very good and very successful. And I thought Curbelo controlled the game. We make any threes, he's got an easy triple double. And so, and then Adam to get going offensively, we know he's an offensive talent, and he can show that there's a lot more than just a catch and shoot guy.
Thank you.
Good morning, Coach. You said last night that you're eventually hoping to get Adam involved in a lot of the things that you've done with Io over the last couple of years. After what he showed last night with his ability to attack the rim, and really scored at all 3 levels, how much more of an asset can that be for you coming down the stretch in March?
Yeah, I think it's one of those situations where this is a great example of not having the off season. In terms of or the preseason, where you've got games that you can tinker with that and experiment with those things. When you get into conference play and it's the nuts and bolts, and you're doing what you do, and you're putting your best guys in your best spots, and the guys that have been there and done that, and it's been Io, it's been Kofi, it's been Trent, and you let those freshmen mature and grow along the way, and yet we see it in practice. So I'm excited. I think it can be a big help. I think it gave him a lot of confidence. It gives me a lot of confidence that we can, we've got a lot of different things we can go to and feel comfortable about.
You mentioned your confidence in him and the things that you can go and do with him. How much more do you think having this ability to kind of sit back and mature and watch an Io, watch a Trent during his freshman year could help him into the future in his sophomore, junior, potentially, I guess, even senior year if he's here for that long?
Yeah, it's huge. There's no, it's the saying you guys have heard me say a million times, best thing about freshmen is they become sophomores. And now they know a system, and they know the expectations, and the hardest thing to do in coming from high school to college is not play offense. The hardest thing to do is play defense and learn the importance of that and learn how to do it. And then when you do that defensively, that helps your offense. And because it frees your mind up so much. And we can all you guys could all draw up a set, and we could go out and run it and execute it and score. And you guys would think you're a great coach. That doesn't have anything to do with offensive basketball. It's what you do on the defensive side and the transition and the freedom mentally to be able to play offense. And so, man, he's going to have a great career.
Thank you, Coach.
Hey, Brad, last night and then again today, you talked about maybe some sleepless nights. And I'm just curious for you, I think there's probably always a level of mental fatigue or exhaust at this point of the season, but with everything, the schedule and the situation with Io, and I know you've been vocal about Kofi, and then you put COVID on top of that. What is this like for you right now?
I mean, it's one of those that I tell our guys, sometimes it's not always fair, sometimes it's not always easy. But the one thing that's constant is we're playing basketball. We're doing the one thing we love. And we have to be as prepared and as dialed in every single night. We're blessed. We get to put the jersey on, and we cannot make an excuse. That's sure. I think everybody gets tired. I think everybody gets worn down. I think it's a natural phenomenon. It happens. But this year is added. We're going to grow from it. We're going to be better from it. 5 of 6 on the road stinks. It's insane in any normal year. But you know what? We've played better on the road. We've played better basketball on the road than we played at home. So bring it on.
Do you find yourself, I mean, have you been in a situation where you have to maybe remind yourself that like you are kind of the head guy, you are the head guy of this team, and that your attitude and approach trickles, I mean, you know, kind of maybe falls to your guys to keep that level head? Has that been something you've experienced?
Yeah, I appreciate you letting me know that.
Well,
Maybe I'm tired. I forget things. I don't know. I don't know. No, absolutely. That's part of leadership. That's part of having the title is, you know, you juggle a lot of hats, and yet, you know, I understand everything that I do. There's a reaction to. There was no doubt. You know, I had a plan with the officials early last night. I mean, there's going to be a trickle down, so to speak, and it always starts at the top, and it starts with me. Now that you inform me I'm the head coach, so I'm conscious of that.
thanks, Brad. I thought I'd break a little news to you this morning.
I appreciate it. I mean, Rob's concerned about my health, and I got Joey informing me I'm now the head coach at Illinois. It's been a great morning.
Well, I'm not sure how I'm going to follow that up, but I guess, you know, with Io's status undetermined, I suppose, just do you kind of maybe feel like the team can avoid maybe that start last night where that's just a little maybe hit and miss because they know those roles if he's not out there or out there in a limited amount?
Yeah, common sense was last night. I mean, it was different. Okay, it was just different. And so sometimes when you get different, you get just a little bit out of sync and out of rhythm and yet we had some incredible possessions. I mean, incredible. Like, and there was no reward at the end because we didn't score. And yet I was ecstatic by our ball movement and our flow and our driving and and the ball never stuck. And then we missed a 3. And you know, it's just kind of that little bit of uncertainty. I thought we played better in the second half in terms of understanding where shots were coming, so on and so forth. But yeah, that was just common sense thing that I knew we'd be out of sorts a little bit, Scott. And we were, you know, we'll be through that pretty quick.
You mentioned with, you know, Bello probably deserving the triple double if just a couple more shots fall. I mean, that would have been 3 in 2.5 weeks after 2 in the program and I don't know, like 70, 80 years. Just is there something about this group where those are like now maybe I don't want to say common, but certainly almost happening at a regular clip?
Yeah, let's not call them common. It's really hard to do that in a college basketball game. And you know, especially for guards to have to go rebound. You know, Curbello's an elite rebounder. I mean, I saw a game in high school, he had 19 at a high level game. You know, he's got a knack for that. And but you know, yeah, I think we're an unselfish group. I think we're a team that has guys who can make plays offensively. I think that's why we're a I don't know, 7th, 8th, 9th, whatever we are in offensive efficiency. You have that when you can pass. And you have that when you guys got shot makers, and you know, the rebounding is a knack. It's a toughness, and you know, that's pretty special.
Hey, Brad, I can read between the lines that you're frustrated with the Big Ten with certain things. So I'll just ask you point blank, like, what is your biggest frustration there?
I mean, it is what it is. I think, you know, and that's a bad line. I can't believe I just used that. It's if I have any frustration, we were perfectly healthy and set for 10 days in the middle of the season. And I know it goes beyond us. And my whole deal is I know how hard I have preached. I know how committed our players have been to doing everything perfect with COVID. These guys have not done one thing outside of the 30 people that are everyday testing. And to we're going to do what the league tells us because we think that's right, and the Big Ten is the league that we're all playing in. And it's unfortunate that the 3 games we got canceled were all road games, and it's not our fault. But I'm going to be bigger than that. I want my players to learn a life lesson, not just a single game moment. You know, hey, we're going to cancel this game because we don't feel like playing. And that could be very easily done in COVID. Okay, because the Big Ten championship means nothing. They're going to go to some numeric formula, and all we're trying to do is get to the end and get to the NCAA tournament. Because I think the final chapter of a COVID season is having the NCAA tournament, and I want to be there in the best way we can, and the healthiest we can, and you know, so but it is, you know, stuff looks really good, Jeremy, on paper until you have to live it sometimes. And you know, we can talk about all the mental issues that we've been through this year and the mental challenges. You know, sometimes mental issues don't coincide with schedules, you know, or somebody's schedule, whatever it is, you know. But my point being, we're a member of the Big Ten. It's the best league in the country, and they've asked us to play games, and we're going to play games.
Thanks, Brad.
Hey, Brad, not glossing over this special season or this special group, but did last night give you a glimpse of what you have in the future with Bello and with Adam? Because it obviously looks pretty bright even without, you know, Io on the floor.
Good observation. It's exciting. I think that, you know, when you've got a really good coaching staff, you know, you guys that have all been here forever. Lauren's been here for 100 years. Man, our guys have done a good job of recruiting and putting good players that fit into what we do. And it's changed a lot in 4 years. And so I'm always excited, and I always love to see young guys grow. And this group has done that.
Thanks, Brad.
Hey, Brad, kind of combining Scott and Mark's question, but do you think next year with, you know, maybe more touches and more minutes that Andre could be like a nightly triple-double threat?
Come on now. There's been 2 in how many years? I don't want to put limitations on somebody, but you know, he does a lot of things very well, and he's great at being an alpha. And he loves that. He loves those moments. And you know, so I'm not going to put a limit on him, but you know, I'm also, come on, those are, you know, there was 2, and I don't know, Lauren, how many have you seen? You've seen now 4, 2, 4, whatever. Okay. You know, Lauren's old as dirt. I mean, he hadn't seen many. So to say you can do that every night is a little much.
And then as March sort of approaches and you guys are kind of in the mix, are you paying any attention to maybe teams that are kind of on your projected seed line or bracketology or anything like that? Or is that for the guys like me?
Probably start doing that in the next week to 10 days, week or so. It's a little early for that yet. But you know, the way it's worked in the past, our guys through analytics, and we got a bunch of them that are really good at it. We'll start looking at all those numbers. They'll start pulling folders When that time comes, I'll get a folder within 30 seconds knowing who we're playing because they'll have it figured out.
Thanks, Brad.
All right, we've got to wrap up. Thank you for joining us, and we'll
Quick note, Derek. Quick note. I'm old as dirt. Jim Turpin joined me today at 89, and anybody that might know him, including Brad, you might want to send him a message. He'll be 89 today. Jim
Happy
Turpin.
birthday, Jim.
He was
Hey.
play-by-play for over 30 years. For the
Absolutely. Make sure you give him our best well wishes. And no offense, Lauren, I respect you, but you are old as dirt. You look great though.
All righty. Thank you.
Thanks, Brad.
Thank you.
Thank you, Coach.